Right, 13 March 2024, and as usual, I'm going to be giving you an update of all the important stories that are taking place in Zimbabwe. And we're going to start with the latest news on Starlink. So, as you know, Starlink is the internet which is available through a satellite. It is very fast and very cheap. I think it's about $99 a month for uncapped. And there's been a lot of problems in Zimbabwe regarding Starlink over the past few months. So today there's been an announcement, which is obviously through the newspapers, that there are now negotiations taking place between Starlink and the guys who are in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe government, Minister of Information. So I'm talking here about the Minister of Information, Mavetera. I think that's her name. So she's made that announcement through a story which is in the Newsday newspaper. She asked the newspaper not to produce the story at that particular time, but obviously they needed to do it, and they've published it. And you can always look at the Newsday newspaper for that story. This will be a massive development because there's currently very poor coverage of internet across the country, and people are looking forward to fast internet, especially in remote areas. For example, if you go to Nyanga, Vumba, Kariba, areas around Wange, Starlink is an essential for those kind of areas. And this is the announcement. You can go and see that story in the Newsday newspaper. Starlink to be approved, and negotiations currently taking place between the Zimbabwe government and the representative of Starlink. Currently, South Africa, Mozambique, Zambia, and all these countries around us are already using Starlink. And this would be massive if this was approved. There's also the issue of people being arrested. So I think the approval by Potras will make sure that the people will not be arrested for using Starlink. So I think that's a massive story, and it's going to be a very, very big development. Gambakwe media will now be available everywhere in Zimbabwe. Imagine that. So let's now look at other stories. I'm looking at a story here of which I'm going to be giving you in detail within the next few weeks. So ED and certain people around him, people like Scott, even people like Wicknell, and also other people around, they're involved in a certain thing that I'm going to review very, very soon. But currently, I want to look at what's happening with court judgments. So fake court awards. For example, Wicknell got 33 million from ZESA. So Advocate Thabani Mpofu is currently dealing with an issue, a similar issue at NASA. He's representing NASA, where a judge has awarded 30 million to a company that did not deliver. So you know that Wicknell did not deliver the ZESA project. He was awarded 33 million. And there's now another company that has been awarded 30 million at NASA, but they did not deliver the houses. So this is crazy, what's happening. And I think this is basically a way of siphoning money from the Parastate House. And I'll be touching on another issue that is taking place that directly involve people like ED and Anna Scott. Currently, most government departments are not functional. They're being run by a cabal, which is surrounding ED. For example, ZBC, ZIMRA, NASA, ZINARA, ZESA, those companies, they've been infiltrated by a cabal and they're not functional. Things are not working there. If you look at what is happening in ZBC, the board is not functional. The minister is basically running that place day to day, including firing the CEO. The board has been incapacitated. They've employed people there who are relatives. So the current board chairperson there is a relative of Mnangagwa. She's the new board, and I've covered in extensive detail how she got into that position. So there's the only body that is working right now in Zimbabwe is the military, and I want to show you, in fact, what the military is doing. The guys in the military are currently in Victoria Falls, not looking for John Doe. They are going there to run a golf tournament. If you go to gambako.com, you see that there's a golf tournament there being run by the military guys. They've actually gone down there. Very nice. I think they're doing a great job. So I like what the military guys are doing. They are changing the face of the military in Zimbabwe from that unprofessional military that we had in the past. I like this new group of military guys, and whatever they're doing here, it must be encouraged. So I want to show you, you can go to gambako.com and look at that story. So Zimbabwe military guys are going to be running a golf tournament. So that is what I expect from senior military officials, strategy, things like that, not to mind Savan, when a serious military person. So let's see what he's saying here.
Marshal Simon Yuan, the chairman of the local organizing committee for the 15th World Military Golf Championship.
Okay, I'm sorry, my voice is very low. My volume is very low. You can go to gambako.com and have a look at that. The military guys are going to be running a golf tournament over there. And now let's quickly run through other stories. I only want to keep this under 10 minutes. So we said Zimbabwe is going to license Starlink. Negotiations are underway. Then the former ZBC CEO, Adelaide Chikunguru, has been given 48 hours to respond, to report the ZBC to a court or keep quiet. I think that statement by the board is not their place, because she's accusing Jenfan Muswere of sexually harassing her. And she cannot report that at the speed that the board wants. The board has got nothing to do with it. Also, the reasons that they gave for bringing upon a disciplinary committee has got nothing to do with what she's saying. And I think we're going to see more here. But if I was Adelaide, I would actually sue the ZBC and make sure that I get a lot of money from here. These guys are not serious. Then let's go to other stories. Mnangagwa Ishmael has been arrested. You know, I told you that Mnangagwa Ishmael is running a cult outside Harare. He's been arrested. So here are the pictures of his arrest. Here is Mnangagwa Ishmael. He was arrested yesterday morning. And these are the kids that were being held hostage. There were over 100 families here being held hostage. And if someone died, Mnangagwa Ishmael would bury you without telling anyone immediately, including without telling your family members. 2 female police officers from Bari have been arrested. They're trending right now on all the newspapers. They set up a fake station outside Bari police station and started collecting money. So you see they're wearing the same shirts there, M&M. Those are the guys. And then we also have the 2 security guards from Quest Financial Services. They've been sentenced to 24 months in jail. So this is Cornelius Machikange and Nesbet Kachungwe. They have been sentenced to 24 months in prison. You can go and see this story in the H Metro newspaper. Then in terms of other stories, let's look at business. And this is Lens Mambondiani. He was addressing here at Mani Soiri 2024. This guy used to be the Bank ABC CEO. So I don't know what happened after I stepped down. And then yesterday when my internet was not working, I tried to show you this picture. This is John Madondo, a businessman based in South Africa. He is accused of asking for a head, a human head, so that he can perform rituals to get money. So John Madondo is South African based, and the person that he asked for a head went and found a child and grabbed the child and started to strangle the child. Lucky enough, I think the child didn't die, but it was linked to John Madondo. He eventually confessed that John Madondo had asked him to bring the head, the human head. So he was trying to make, I don't know, $50,000 that they give you for a human head. And so that is John Madondo. He's saying he didn't do it, but he's in the newspapers for it. He's a Zimbabwean businessman based in South Africa. On a similar note, there is a policeman that I wanted to tell you about yesterday, Keria Tanyanyiwa, and his wife, a former MSU student. They also snatched a child, and they took the child to Harare, ran away with the child from the mother, and police had to investigate, and eventually they brought back the child. Lucky enough, because they've been identified. The lucky thing was that someone was standing there who recorded a video as the car was speeding off. So it was traced to him. It was not registered to him, But through police investigation, they eventually found out who owned the car. They phoned him, and then he brought back the child to Guero. So there is a lot happening with the children. So if we're children in Harare, people are trying to make money from kids, which is crazy. Then the Grain Millers Association of Zimbabwe has sued Rutendo Benson Matinyarare for all his claims on GMO, and Dynamos is using Baba Field Stadium as their home ground. The IIP degrees are not approved. So people who have received the IIP degrees include Delisha Ngwaya, Mudiwa Wood, Eric Francis Niosaba of Kambucha. Those are the people who I know who have received these degrees. So the ZIMCHE have said that people who are using these doctors, calling themselves doctor this and doctor that. For example, if Delish says he's called Dr. Delish, he must stop immediately because he's not a doctor. And they will get arrested for this if they continue. Then ZANU PF has won both elections this weekend. That is in Chinhoyi and in Harare. So the councillors, they won. You know that Chamisa has been presenting independence. The loss that Chamisa had in his team, it's not Chamisa but his independence, is they had two candidates in one place. And I saw that ZANU PF won because they were double candidates, double independents. And they could have easily won. So I don't know how they can organize themselves to avoid this story of losing elections because of double candidates. I think it's a test and they must get it done. They must get it sorted out. And I want to show you a story from the Chinese. The Chinese have put in doctors at Parinyato. So I'm going to end with this story. And I want to show you the Chinese ambassador. The specific reason why I'm giving you this story so that you can see the Chinese ambassador. Most of you have never seen the Chinese ambassador speaking. So I want to show you the Chinese ambassador to Zimbabwe. That's all the reason why I'm showing you this story, so that you can see him speaking. So let's play this story.
Anesthetist and urologist Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
My apologies there.
Training programs for medical professionals.
This emerged at the annual shift and award ceremony for medical teams from China this Monday.
The exchange as well as the teaching of medical students. The medical teams have often filled some of our gaps and introduced new ideas to our systems. In recognition of the expertise, we have decided to deploy the China medical teams to Parinyatwa Group of Hospitals, our country's premier health institution, where opportunities to work with various local specialists and teaching of medical students are available.
Chinese Embassy chargé d'affaires Mr. Cheng Yang pledged to further cement relations with Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe has traditions of respecting doctors and nurses and always attaches importance to its people's health. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Mnangagwa, and with the excellent job of the Ministry of Health and Child Care, Zimbabwe has laid sound foundations and remarkable achievements in its medical and health development.
The medical team from China comprises...
Right, so I wanted to show you that. That's the Chinese charge d'affaires. So I don't know if he's the ambassador or what, but the Chinese have put in a bunch of doctors at Parinyato Hospital. And one thing that you guys didn't see there was that Mukoma MS was there. He made a comment there, right there on that video. So it's been a while since I talked to Mukoma MS, but he was right there. I think the whole day he spends it on the internet just commenting. So let's see if Mukoma MS commented today or he's sleeping. No, he's not here. So he was there on that particular video commenting. So let's recap. As I said, I want to keep this very, very short. It's about 15 minutes now. I will eventually get it to 10 minutes every morning. I want to get it so short that when someone is preparing to bath and go to work, they can listen and know what's happening in the whole country. So let's start with the recap. Starlink is going to be licensed in Zimbabwe. And this means that there will be internet everywhere, high-speed internet. I don't know the implications for an Econet, on Net 1, and I tell you so, those guys who've been given poor and unstable internet. So this is a very, very good development. I hope that this happens very, very soon. Then the Zimbabwe government has been taken over by a cabal that is doing corrupt activities, including getting fake judgments where they awarded huge sums of money. And then that money is shared. I'm sure it's shared among a lot of people. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to provide you a story that includes ED, Scott, and other people and what they've been doing. We've got a lot of details on that. And as I said, the military guys are probably the only arm of government right now that is functional. The rest of the other arms of government are now just a bunch of corruption running and doing strange things all over there. And then, as we said, and I forgot one story here, Norman Mapeza has been appointed as the Zimbabwe interim coach. So there's a 4-day match in Malawi, I think, and he's now the Zimbabwe interim national team coach. So this is very, very important in terms of sport. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really enjoy this presentation every morning. This is the most watched bulletin in the whole of Zimbabwe. We have over 50,000 people watching this every single day. As I said, media in Zimbabwe is not, news is not moving. This is things like internet is not available, newspapers are not reaching everywhere, and it's expensive. And people in remote areas. So for example, people in Nabinga, Kariba, and all those places, they never get this Harare newspaper. And so they rely on what we give you here every morning so that they understand what is happening around the country. So the biggest stories, I'll be bringing them to you almost every day. And eventually, Kambakwe Media is going to go offline, which means we're going to have a presence on other platforms other than Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, which is where most people watch us. But we're going to go to other platforms where you see a lot happening. And also, our head office in Harare, we're in the process of building that, and it will be very, very interesting. Most of you will be able to see me on a daily basis in Harare. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning.